Hey, good morning, guys. Because I'm going to be getting the box painted in the next few days, I want to finish prepping up the chassis to accept the box once it's painted. So there's a bunch of stuff I've got to do before I put the box on, um, and one of them is wet sanding the the roof and back panel area of the truck. I've been on that for about a day and a half, to be honest with you, and I'd say I'm halfway done. I've got it up to like 2,000 grit. So yeah, and I'm bringing it up to 5,000. There was some pretty serious orange peel in the back panel, and it's coming out nicely though, and so I'm not worried about it. Should be fine. There's also, some frame touch-ups. I'd like to get most of my exhaust run. It's just easier to do with the box off, and yeah, a few other little things. So there's plenty to do. I'm looking at it right now going, yeah, there's plenty to do, all right. As usual, never seems to end. But yeah, might as well just get right to it, man. All right, so this is the area I'm talking about, all the roof area and the whole back panel. And of course, that's just the area the box is going to cover that anyway. But I think you can see, there's a glow to it, right? Even though it's flat. That glow gets brighter and shinier each time you step up the grit. So that's 2,000, 3,000 will be shinier than that. 5,000 will be shinier than that. So it's less work with the buffing machine. And I want it to come out like my door did, mint. So yeah, I'm ready to step up to the 3,000, and I'm not going to show it because it's kind of boring, or maybe I'll show a little bit of it. But anyway, and this is what I'm talking about, touch-ups on the frame, a little bit of overspray and stuff like that. Get that all cleaned up. I mean, the whole frame has 2 coats of epoxy chassis coating on it. So, I can top it off with Tremclad or whatever. And then I've been playing around with my exhaust pipes a little bit. I'll get to that when I'm ready. So yeah, I'm going to carry on with wet sanding for now, and I'll come back when it's ready to buff out. Okay, so this is 2,500. Now, I think you can see the difference in the shine already. That's just 25. So yeah, I'll go over it with the 3,000 real quick, and I'll show you again. But I mean, this hasn't been touched with a buffer or anything yet, and it's got a pretty good shine to it already. So by the time I get to 5,000, I mean, the buffer's doing very little work. Essentially what we're doing is just the 2,500 took the scratches out of the 2,000. So now the 3,000 will remove the scratches that were left by the 2,500, and so on. So yeah, so maybe I'll show a few minutes of the wet sanding. All right, so here we go. We got 3,000 and a rubber block. So like I say, what we're doing here is taking the scratches out from the 2,500. My warm soapy water, put a drop of dish soap in there so it helps keep the paper from clogging up. When you're doing this, you can hear it. That's the sound of it cutting. And after a couple of passes, it stops making that sound. As you know, we can move on. And each time you step up a grit, the whole thing goes by quicker and quicker. The first two, breaking down the orange peel and dust and whatever, that takes the longest amount of time. case you're wondering, the top of the roof itself, it's been done up to 2,500, and that should be good. I mean, nobody can see it unless they're, you know, a giant. So, yeah, the roof looks pretty good already. I don't know if you can hear that cutting. I like to do a section, so I'm doing this whole thing up to this body roll halfway, then I'll wipe it down, dry it off, and move on to the next section. And work from the top down, because all the crap falls down. The reflection you're getting when it's wet is pretty much what you're going to have when you buff it. Like I said, I always used to stop at 2,000 and that was it. But after I was talked into going further with it, I think I'll be doing it all the time. It just makes a huge difference in the final look of the paint. All right. There we go, one little section. Now, as far as the body roll goes, I'm only touching wherever I see a dust speck or a flaw. There's very little orange peel on it. It's good, and it's actually a pain in the ass to buff. So, for the most part, it's going to be left alone. Now, I'll dry it off a bit. Someone's giving her. Anyway, there you go. That's 3,000. And I think maybe you can see the difference between the 3,000 and the 2,500. So, like I said, it just keeps getting shinier and shinier. So, yeah, there we go. I'm just going to carry on, finish this up. All right, so I got the 5,000 out, went over the whole thing, and you know, you can see the shine on it, you know, the reflection. Um, you know, it won't take much with a buffer to get that out and real shiny. So it's pretty good. I can't believe how that orange peel came out of there. I mean, it was pretty freaking heavy, but came out good. So I'm happy with that. And then I wanted to clean up the frame and touch up spots here and there. I had overspray and stuff, so you know, I broke out the candy apple trim clad and dabbed some paint on her, and yeah, she's looking spiffy down here too. The only problem with this is it's wet paint now, and I kind of screwed myself. There's not much I can do with the truck until that paint dries. So I guess my next move would be to pull this out and, you know, bring the box up forward and prep it to block sand it for what I hope to be the last time, and get it ready for primer and then wet sand and paint. So yeah, that's the plan. I guess that's what I'll do. Yeah, you know, that's pretty shiny with no buffing at all. That's just sandpaper. That's crazy. Anyway, that's the plan. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'll come back when I'm set up. Pipe hanging here. All right, grab the box. Sweet. Okay, as usual, before I prep, or before I block sanding, there's a little bit of prep to do, and that involves the guide coat. It says the cheap spray bomb of Duplicolor primer. It's a black primer, so I have the contrast, and just give it a light dusting. I'll move the camera down a bit so you can see. There we go. This is all we want to do, just the dusting. Like so. And I've explained it before, but for new viewers, it's just to give contrast. So when you go to sand this, see how it's all dark, sort of darker gray. As you sand it, the spots that remain dark gray are low spots, and that's what this helps you see it. So that's why I do it. Now the inside box sides are pretty good, but I have to. I'm calling those done, ready for wet sanding and paint. There we go. So let that set up a bit. And this is ready to start block sanding, and it's starting to get dark out, so probably call it a night. Push this back and bring the truck back in. Still think that was a genius idea, getting those wheels under there. This thing starts up easier and easier every time I do it. Okay, so there you go. So tomorrow I can go right at buffing this thing and getting that all ready to go. And I got a little bit of the red to touch up. Do that after I do the buffing, and then block sand the box and get a shot of primer in it, I should say. I should be getting my wood this week for the bed floor, and that'll take a bunch of sanding and finishing and stuff like that. The first plank that I got, the guy didn't run it through the planer. His knives were out to get sharpened, so it was just rough sawn. So the next ones are going to be a lot easier to sand because they'll have been run through the planer at least once on each side, and that'll take off a lot of the roughness. So still, you got to sand it. Wood takes stain a lot better and more even if you sand the wood first. Plus, planers leave marks as well. They're like little lines going across it from the cutters. So you got to sand it anyhow, and I like to break the edges as well, especially with fur, because like I said, splinters. Fur is really bad for that, so you want to break those edges and make sure there's nothing you can catch stuff on and what have you. End up with a giant sliver in your hand or in your eye or something, but whatever. Yeah, so there's plenty to do. Block sanding won't take long. Like I said, it's just the top rail where it's angled down, and then the outside of the box on the outside of where the fenders go. So it's a pretty small area. Shouldn't take too long, so we should be able to get that done and primed, all that in one day, along with the buffing. So yeah, that'll be the next video though. I think I'm kind of running out of time here. It's getting dark. I'm going to start working on putting the parts order together. Bunch of little things that I need. I know I need 2 new trim rings for the front wheels, because the new trim rings I got for the rear wheels are different than the ones I have for the front. So I want to have a matching set, of course, make it all look the same, like they belong together, and they're a set. There's also wind lace for the hood, so you can get the hood installed. And there's some other rubbers and stuff that were back ordered. Never did get my gas cap for the flush mount gas cap for the bed floor, because I want to route that into the wood so that it's nice and flush. A few other things, I haven't figured out the strips in between the wood yet. Everybody does the same factory ones, but just a painted kit of those metal strips, it's like $260, but that's US. You got to ship it here. There's the exchange, all that stuff. You add it all together, and I'm looking at close to $500. That's a lot of money for a couple of strips of friggin' tin. So, and that's paint grade. Then I still got to paint it. So I'm gonna shop around, see what else is out there. I have a few ideas. I seen some stuff at Princess Auto last time I was there. It was aluminum strips, and might be able to make something happen with that. But we'll see. I'll take a closer look at it and see what else is out there. And yeah, just go from there. So yeah, plenty to do, but we're making progress. And like I said, I want to get in and start it now. It like boom, starts right away. So it just seems to get easier and easier the longer I go and the more times I do it. So that's a good sign as well. And I still got maybe a minor valve adjustment to do. There's still a little bit of ticking there. I was going to give it some time running to see if it would clear up. Sometimes the lifters weren't completely seated or something, whatever. I don't know what happened. It does happen though, nothing major. It's probably a matter of tightening down one rocker or something. So we'll see what that's all about after. And yeah, other than that, that's about it. So yeah, we're just gonna keep on rocking, man. And if you like the content that you're watching, please subscribe, hit the little bell and all that other stuff. Don't be shy, leave comments. And if you have subscribed, thank you very much. I truly do appreciate it. And yeah, if nothing else, get out of the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.